Right, it's time to start discussing this SWIFT delay, the European Central Bank delay, all of this stuff that's going on. And also I want to talk about our attitude towards specific dates and times in this timeline that we're living in right now. I'm noticing in the audience and among the community of XRP in general that there is this ultra focus on November. And that isn't for no reason, right? There's specific reasons why mid-November is really exciting for us. We had the European Central Bank moving from Target 2 to Target, utilizing RTGS in a blockchain environment. We had the SWIFT 20022 new protocol coming into play in mid-November as well, among a multitude of other things. The court case coming to a close, G7 meeting in Indonesia, bills being passed in the States, Biden executive orders all converging in at this moment, not to mention the re-evaluation of gold, the impending crash of the whole market. This is all happening at the latter end of this year. And so we look at all of that information and we come to the conclusion that all of these dates are converging on one moment, November the 21st, 2022. Then we hear last week about the European Central Bank delay until March. That was them wanting to give 4 extra months to those who were not ready. So first I want to get into the European Central Bank document that we saw. And this is the press release from the European Central Bank. The Governing Council of the European Central Bank has decided to reschedule the launch of the new real-time gross settlement RTGS system and its liquidity management model T2. The go live has therefore been postponed by 4 months from November the 21st to the 20th of March 2023. A little bit further down, these are the details I want you to be paying attention to. While most users would have been ready for the scheduled go live date, the others wouldn't have fully completed their testing. So the moment I saw this, and I talked about it with my Patreon group and my YouTube members on the Discord, the main thing I wanted to focus on here was while most users would have been ready for the scheduled go live, others would not have fully completed their testing. So what we know from this is that the majority of people, I'm going to say, let's say 75% of these institutions were ready to go at the go live date. My outlook of all of this when I saw this information was, well, European Central Bank can say that, but I need to hear from SWIFT about this specific thing. Until SWIFT tell me what they're doing, I won't believe this European Central Bank thing, especially knowing that the majority of people in the European Central Bank umbrella were ready to go. And then a whole week goes by and we come across SWIFT. SWIFT make their press release about accepting the community's request to start the ISO20022 migration into March of 2023. And this document has a few issues. And I think it's because it's a little bit vague, it's contradictory at moments. And I want to give you my thoughts at the end of this as to what I believe is happening in March and what I believe is happening in November. So we read this whole thing and it's saying that we've been listening to what everyone's saying about the European Central Bank, and we are in fact going to delay the ISO 20022 migration to match what the European Central Bank are doing as well. And here's the big skill that I want you all to have when you're reading these official documents. Read every word with as much intensity as possible. I want to highlight this on the screen here because when people are reading this, I want you to imagine a percentage scale going from the top, as in 100%, and then all the way down to 0%, right? So if you imagine the bottom line being the lowest percentage, and that percentage that I'm talking about is the amount of people that actually read the whole document with a level of intensity that is conducive to understanding. Okay, so we look at the top, everyone reads the headline, SWIFT accepts the community request to start ISO 20022 migration in March 2023. Everyone sees that, but every line we go down in this page, there's less and less people around to read it. So what you get is everyone tweeting, messaging me, going crazy saying you were wrong about November, it's going to happen in March, see? And I'm like, okay, well, let me read this document and let me see what's really going on, because I know I will read this whole document with 100% intensity to see what's really being said. So as you go down, and SWIFT slowly introduce what this ISO 20022 thing is. And as you go down, they're revealing a little bit more information. On the third paragraph down, where there's even less people paying attention, it says, an overwhelming majority of our global community has requested that SWIFT align the start of the ISO 20022 migration with CBPR Plus with the European Central Bank's updated timetable to ease the implementation. Okay, so this is where they're getting into it here. And I find it interesting that it's one of the last lines in this document where people are paying the least amount of attention because they think they've already figured out what this whole document's about by the time they get to this point, right? So they just dismiss it. They don't look further. This is the skill I want to put into all of you. This last line, institutions that would like to realize the benefits of rich data sooner can continue to exchange ISO20022 messages on an opt-in basis. What do you think that means? To me, that means there are some people opting in and using that data-rich standard, the new ISO20022 system, on an opt-in basis. Those who are ready can opt in and use that service. How many people are drawing that conclusion from this document? Very few, very small percentage. Because of what I talked about with that percentage as you go down the screen. The further you go down the screen, the less people are paying attention, and the most important information is at the bit where no one's looking. I think that's deliberate. Now, as I take that away, I want to start talking about expectations and emotion. It's very easy to get carried away with all of your emotions, getting excited about November. You know, November's literally a few days away now. And once you're in November, you're simply just waiting for mid-November to come, right? It could all start very, very soon. And obviously that's very exciting. Everyone can get emotional because lives are about to change sooner rather than later. And that is very exciting. Look, I completely understand. But what we do when we get excited about those things is that we forget our place. You and I are normal people with zero power in this world. There's probably not a single person watching this video who can tell the European Central Bank, no, we're doing it in November, right? None of us can do that. There are powers that make these decisions, and whatever they decide to do is what happens. We have no role in that. So if they want to change it from November to March, they can absolutely do that. Do I think they're really doing that cut and dry? I personally don't think that's the case. I think we're going to see some action, albeit it might be small. We're going to see some action around that time where all of these things were converging, court case, as all of the whole list of things I mentioned before. Something's going to happen then. Will it go to the degree that we were hoping it to go to? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they're completely lying about March. Maybe it all goes live. Maybe the majority of people that they're talking about is 99% and not just 75% or 60% of institutions. Maybe 99% of them opt in. Maybe the price pumps with that. On the other hand, maybe there is a delay until March. And what I'm trying to say is, if we are given until March for the same thing to happen, all that has happened is you've been given 4 extra months to accumulate the right assets. Look at the intensity that you've been investing over the last few months. Imagine having that time again to accumulate even more. And this is very much like the interview I had with Coach JV, where he was saying you can take these bad elements and you can say, oh, it's delayed again, there's manipulation, they're doing all of this stuff, we have no power in any of this. Or you can look at it in a positive way, send out that positive vibration that he talks about, where you can think, wow, I know what I hold here. I know that these assets that I hold are the future for this new financial system. I know where it's going to go. 4 months gives me more time to have more valuable assets. And I think that's really important. That's like the way to look at it. Because yes, it can get frustrating if you focus on 1 month. I talk about mid-November a lot, but it's not like I'm married to mid-November. I already know what I hold. I would like it to be sooner because there's a little bit of impatience in me. But because I have the confidence in what I hold, I don't care if I have to hold this till 2025. I've been looking at 2025 as my retirement date anyway. I don't get married to November. I'm married to my coins, and we are never separating. Pay attention to all those little words at the ends of articles from these official documents. Get to the areas of the document that nobody's reading. That's where the gold is, and they put it there deliberately. So do I think everything's going to get delayed until March? I don't know. I'm not in control. It could happen. Alternatively, it could be a mix of both. We could have a pump in November and in March, or we could have no pump in November and all the pump in March, or we could have all the pump in November and no pump in March. Like, it doesn't matter. The pump is coming, and this is at most 4 months that we have to wait to see some action. And at best, it's in like a couple of weeks. It's going to be an exciting time. Continue to accumulate. Make sure you're looking for that fine print at the bottom of documents. Like, I can't stress enough how important that is. If you enjoy this content, you want to see more of the deep dives into patents and all that kind of stuff, I'd really highly suggest that you become a member on this channel. You just have to click the join button next to subscribe. It starts at £3 a month, and you get access to the private channels on my Discord, where you then also receive early bird access to any research pieces that I put out. And if you're in here and you've been a member for a while, let everyone know in the comments and in the live chat if you think you've had the value from your membership. Stay emotionless out there, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.